This is Halftime with the Playmakers, your midweek partner with the live show The Playmakers, aired on WANM 90.5 from 12:30 to 2 p.m. I am your host, Michael Trim Jr., and in today's show, we got a lot of good topics. We'll be discussing, should Coach Crarey want to sign an extension with FAMU after losing most of his team to the portal? We'll give our Sweet 16 and Elite 8 thoughts, our Final Four predictions, and is Cooper Flag the best freshman to come out of Duke? But to help me with these topics, I got some great guys in the studio.
Yo, it's your boy EJ Robinson, also known as EJR3. Every journey remembered. Let's make some mo.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Easy E, a.k.a. E-Class from the 904. How y'all feeling?
Jay Lloyd in the building, man. Bring the sauce all the way from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let's go.
Hold up. Wait a minute. They didn't let a playmaker back in the building. What's going on? It's your boy Jay Scott telling you what's hot. What's not on 90.5, the Flavor Station up in the 813 Tampa, Florida.
Welcome back. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. Where you been at?
PBM Scott.
Hold on, man. I just been feeling real progressive, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to better myself.
Yes, sir.
Progressive black man.
Coach Scott.
Man, CKES, always, 1989 for sure. In the corner, my guys been taking care of it in the studio, been listening in. You guys doing a good job, man. I'm glad to be back. Happy to be back in the studio.
All right, for sure. But, first order of business, let's talk about Coach Crarey and how he hasn't signed his extension yet. Milton reportedly hasn't signed his extension. Great correction right there. Sterling Young hopped in the portal. Shaquille O'Neal hopped in the portal. He's already committed to Sacramento State. Milton Matthews hopped in the portal. Caleb Washington, the team that he took to the SWAC tournament. So should he even want to sign an extension with FAMU?
My first thought is, why not? I mean, look what you did your first year here. FAMU basketball hasn't been what it is in years, and you come here and you do something that's never been done, or like I've never seen in my 4 years here. Why not stick around? I mean, the guys that you got were great. They're leaving, but like prove that you're more. Like without these guys, prove that you are a head coach that can take any team, that can make FAMU basketball a program worth looking forward to.
I feel that. I feel that the answer to your question, why not, would be because I planned on being here the second year. I wanted most of my key guys to be back. So if they are not, and my goal was to build something, and now I can't build something, then what's the point? But,
that's about the answer.
Yeah, so that would be my only rebuttal to that, but trust me, just like everybody else, I want him back for sure.
I definitely want him back too. My only thing is like, if there's another offer out there that, he's surveying right now, he's trying to see who's going to give him a chance, then I understand why he doesn't come back. But I have to agree with EJ. Like, if you already had an excellent season with the roster that you basically had to build from scratch, if you already had an excellent season, then I think that you're going to have potentially more offers, another chance to boost your career next season if you're able to come back and kind of recreate some of that same magic or take it to another level.
My thing is, I think we're basing what he is doing future-wise as a coach off of the roster that he has, when if you've been listening and watching, that really hasn't been the case. I mean, going into next season, we knew Coach Crarey was going to be the person to always bring in the best people he thought were best for the job, whether they were going to be on the returning roster or if he's got to go in the portal, if he's got to recruit out of high school, which he has been doing in the first place. He was going to put the best talent he had available on the floor. If that's Sterling, if that's Milton, or that's Shakir, even though they're all in the portal, he was going to put the best people out there. Now, as for him personally, I don't know what the future holds for him. Obviously, you guys have touched on it. He probably will have some offers. He is a young coach. He's developed a crazy amount of talent in a short amount of time. He's brought this program back to where it needs to be. But honestly, again, if you're trying to legitimize yourself as a coach as well, having that bit of consistency, being able to build a team again, I'm not saying that he should or that is the right answer, but it looks great on paper. I mean, if you're talking about just patience waiting for a bigger job to open up, to build where you're at right now, whether that's getting people out of the portal or out of high school, you have the ability to do that here at FAMU. I would, of course, love to see him come back, but I think the power is completely in his hands, and we'll see where it comes out of it.
I think we also have to look at his development as a coach. Absolutely. I think he got a lot better as the season went along himself. So it's just about, like you said, how he feels going into another job. Does he feel like he developed to the point where he can take that on comfortably? If not, then coming back, we'll welcome him with open arms. I think Rattler Nation is 100% behind him.
And not only that, but you see that their job doesn't stop. I mean, we have all these people entering the portal, and we have contract reportedly did this, did that. He's still out recruiting. The job doesn't stop. None of this stops. So, of course, I'm glad to see him come back, but again, it's completely in his hands.
My mind immediately goes to the word legacy. I feel like we're living in an age in college sports where not too many people are staying in one spot and, building a legacy for themselves. I think it was Elijah who said it last week, talking about somebody staying in one spot and just continuing to build a legacy for themselves. And I think what Coach Crarey could do here at FAM, obviously he's not going to be at FAM for the rest of his career. Like, nobody wants to do that. They want to move up in the world. But right now he can see he sees he can compete in the SWAC and be one of the premier top teams in the conference. So why not stick around, see if you can win a conference championship before you make that leap into going to high major D1 basketball. So that's my thoughts on it for sure. Let's move on to women's college basketball. And who, yeah, right.
Someone who chose not to move on to the W.
Right.
Surprisingly.
Projected number 2 overall pick, Olivia Miles, plays for Notre Dame. She decided she will forego the WNBA draft and enter the transfer portal. Now I think this is a brilliant idea. Why? Because the money that she's making now is, I'm not going to say leaps and bounds better, but it's better than, what majority of the WNBA players play. And I said this last week about Juju when bringing up her injury. She has no reason to rush her health and make that leap to the WNBA because you have a Gatorade deal. You make over $1 million in NIL. So I'm not surprised Olivia Miles didn't, make the leap. But what do y'all think?
Yeah, you touched on exactly what I was going to touch on. Same thing we were talking about last week with Juju. It's the same thing, money, all of it. Like, it's no pressing issue to get to the WNBA immediately. It's not like, it's obviously the overall goal, but it's not like I got to get there soon. Not a one and done like it is for players like it was with Zion and all that. Like, these NIL deals, they're keeping these players in college, and I'm not surprised at it. I'm not mad at her for doing that, entering the transfer portals, taking her time to get there.
Yeah, so I got a quote pulled up right now, and any true journalist is looking at this quote and they know exactly what it is, because growing up, they taught you how to read between what you read. You know what I'm saying? So here's a quote right here. When speaking on her decision, it just changes every day. I love college. I think I've outgrown it a little bit, though, so that makes my decision tougher to stay. It's comfortable, a place where you have security. So there were some words that she intentionally left out. When she says comfortable, she means comfortable financially. When she says you have security, she left out financial security. She's being taken care of at Notre Dame. She know the bag gonna be a little bit different. It's sad that that's the decision that she has to make, but I mean, let me see if she graduated, because if she graduated, she could just be up there just hooping, and that's hard. Yeah, it's sad though that people choose to stay technically an amateur as opposed to going to the pros, because the money is that much different. That's really sad.
You think it's sad, from their perspective, or sad in general?
Sad in general. Like, there's no reason for it. The goal has always been to go pro.
Got you. Like, the fact that it's changed so much from what it used to be.
But I feel like that also depends on the independent standpoint, because I feel like there's less of a demand for women's players unless you are a Caitlin Clark or an Angel Reese who've had press follow you all year. I think it's a little different for a player even like Juju Watkins, but there's a less of a demand for women basketball players to leave college to go to the NBA, because a majority of what the money that you're making is NIL deals, right? So you're endorsing your own brand, you're endorsing your own jersey sales, whatever deal that you sign in college. By the time you're getting paid in the WNBA, that now depends on viewership. That depends on the networks that you're playing for. That depends on a various other amount of factors.
If the team is marketed correctly.
Exactly. And that's where the money thing comes from. So it's not really a new wave that women's players are, or just in general that players are stuck in like the amateur leagues not wanting to go pro. It just depends on where you are individually. If I'm her, you had mentioned earlier, she's not going to just be up there graduating and hooping. You have to have like a separate amount of education while you're still hooping. So she would have a chance to get a master's degree. I know that was the rumors that she's in the transfer portal, or that she's planning to enter to the transfer portal.
Yes, she is.
If I'm her, I'm going to USC.
And that was going to be my next question. So boom.
If I'm her, I'm going to USC. I'm making my money with NIL. I have the chance to step into a role that Juju Watkins, if she's not coming back 100% healthy next season, I step into that role as a premier offensive playmaker. And I get my 2-3 years, and then I have the opportunity still to make enough buzz for myself to then go to the WNBA. But there's no rush, because it's all about what you as an individual can do for your career going forward.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question, because Notre Dame got knocked out, I believe, in Sweet 16, or is that Elite 8? I think Sweet 16s from what I'm looking at. But that's a fairly successful season. So if you leave that situation, where exactly are you going? But USC sounds phenomenal. They just lost a key player. They're looking for somebody to be that dog. You can step in and be that dog, get your stuff off, and then hopefully, set yourself up for a successful WNBA run.
I feel as though it's going to be a good move for her in the long run for sure, especially when you consider the fact that she's going to have a chance to further develop her skills. This is a player who has really just gradually gotten better, which is what you like to see. Last year, I think she was, or this year rather, this previous year, she was at like 50% from the field, 40% from 3 on 50 points per game. Excellent numbers. And who wants to be number 2 when you have a chance to really be number 1 next year?
Yeah.
So I think that's enticing to her. My only thing was, her wanting to come back and cement a legacy for herself. I feel like that's a mindset a lot of players with the addition of the transfer portal have, is creating a legacy for themselves rather than their team. And I just wonder how far that's going to go. And I also wonder how much a WNBA league expansion would impact some of these decisions too. Like as they add more teams into the league, I wonder how that's going to impact women when they're making these decisions.
Yeah, that's facts. Do you think it would help or hurt?
I think it would help.
How would it help it?
I think it would help it because now you have more of an option of teams that you could potentially play for. And if you're basically becoming the face of a brand new team, a brand new organization, then I think that takes away some of the marketing concerns as well.
No, for sure. But the only reason I asked the question is because with more teams, I would think that means less money. Like, at least less money to go around. So
That's what I was thinking.
It would be great to be the
to an extent.
Yeah, in theory, it would be great to be the face of the, I don't know, Jacksonville. I don't know.
Hey, do your homework on the Miami Soul, man.
Okay. Isn't there a team it's like coming to Toronto or something?
Nah, it's Golden State, right?
Yeah,
The Valkyries.
the expansion team is going,
They have so many coming.
Oh, they got more coming?
Yeah, the Valkyries, the Miami Soul apparently. So yeah, it would be cool.
That's the old WNBA team. They started out like when they first started.
Oh, got you.
Golden
State.
State.
They can bring them back. Some supersonic stuff. But yeah, it would be cool to do that. But one would think that in theory, it's going to be less money floating around. So it's just interesting altogether. They're finna have to go back to chartered flights. Preferably not.
I think if the players who are coming into the league are the type of players that we think they are, then I wouldn't be too concerned about the money. Because it's already starting to really go up with the addition of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. And then once you add more and more talent on top of that, I mean, women's basketball is, as a sport, becoming a lot more popular.
Absolutely.
It's just facts.
Yeah.
So to me, I wouldn't be too concerned about the money, especially as the league expands.
Women's March Madness concludes this weekend on April 4th. Well, it starts the Final Four on April 4th. And we have UConn versus UCLA and South Carolina versus Texas. Now, fellas, what are your Final Four predictions? And who do you have winning the national championship on the women's side of things?
I feel like the unanimous decision is going to be South Carolina again. Listen, they've been on They've been on a different plane to the point where it's, what does a team have to do to beat South Carolina? And if at any point this season that you've looked at how Dawn Staley coaches their defense, they are one of the most aggressive and systematic defenses in women basketball. That zone that they press out on is second to none. And I feel like, I don't want to say like it's theirs to lose, but it's starting to look that way. I mean, in their matchup against Texas is, from what I've seen, decently well-rounded outside of when they have some of their older players come out, they're going to need a lot from their young players if they want to get over the hump against South Carolina. I'm not really too keen on what's going on with UCLA. I think UConn versus South Carolina is going to be the matchup that you're looking at in the national championship.
For sure.
But in my opinion, when it comes to experience, I'm going to go Coach Staley.
All day.
And when it comes to the amount of turnovers that they can produce on defense alone and a lot of transition points that keep South Carolina in the lead for a lot of games, I'm going to go with South Carolina again. So South Carolina, in my opinion, is the favorite. I like them in both matchups.
That's real. And I like that point that you brought up. Just it kind of feels like you said, what does one have to do to beat South Carolina? I thought Duke was going to do it. I didn't want them to, but I really thought that they would. There was in that second half, there was a stretch where South Carolina didn't score for like 4 minutes or something crazy like that, and the defense just kept putting together stop after stop after stop after stop, and you end up winning by 4 points. Just that defense is something else, man. And they're not as strong as they were last year, but coach keep finding a way to do it, man. So I mean, beating a playoff team. Not even a playoff team. Winning an Elite 8 game, scoring 54 points. That tell you everything you need to know about that defense, bro. It's serious.
Now, one thing I will say though is that there is the teams have played 4 times, Texas and South Carolina. Texas has won one. They won the latest matchup actually, but just before that, they hadn't broke 60 points against South Carolina all season.
All 3 of the games.
At all 3 of the games.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's gonna get bad. It should be good.
And the time that they did, there's one time they beat them. So it's not a matter of can South Carolina, is there gonna be any blunders or anything? It's can Texas score enough points against South Carolina's defense to give it a legit contest?
That's the real question. But can we say that the consensus amongst everybody is UCLA not gonna get it done?
I don't think UCLA will get it done because looking at their roster, it looks like they only have a 2-man show. Because like Jalen said, I haven't really caught too much of UCLA. It looks like they got a 2-man show with Lauren Betts. She gives you 20 and 10 a night pretty much. And then Kiki Rice, their lead playmaker. So it looks like a 1-2 punch. And I think Coach Gino, obviously great coach, arguably the greatest coach in women's basketball. And I think he'll definitely have a game plan in place for them too. So I would have UConn going to the championship and South Carolina.
I would also have UConn going to the championship. And I hate to put it all on the shoulders of one person, but we just got to talk about it. Like, Paige has been on a different level.
Yeah,
100%.
Dirty ball asking.
She's just been on a different level. And when you're able to score at that pace, at that clip, the term gravity gets thrown around in the basketball world a lot, the term gravity. And I think she's at a point right now where she has that. It makes it so much easier for everybody else on the roster when you have a player who's getting to it at that rate. So
yeah.
I think it's just going to be a problem for any team, for any of the 3 teams that are left in front of them. That's going to be a problem to deal with. But as y'all stated before, South Carolina defensively being so strong, being a great team defense, as well as some standout individual defenders on that squad as well. Coach being able to put together a great game plan for them and just being outright more physical than the teams they face this year. I think they're pretty much the only team left that I would see being able to kind of slow that down.
For sure. And with that zone that they play, that's going to be a fun kind of chess match.
Yeah.
Because you have your area. I don't care if she's at the logo. It's your area.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I can't see any other matchup than UConn and South Carolina at this point. And I think it's going to be interesting because, the offensive power of Paige is the offensive power of Paige. It stands out. I also think Sarah Strong is also, solid backup for not just Paige, the one-man show. It is to the point out, though, the same thing with South Carolina, that defense, though. I mean, they had 13 team steals against Duke. I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting matchup to see. But if we picking, I'm gonna say UConn wins it all. I'm gonna be bold and say that. I'm gonna go on my girl Paige.
I'm not mad at it. You can't argue against a tough bucket. I can't argue against good defense. So I got South Carolina.
Yeah, I think South Carolina's an incredibly deep team. They go 8, 9 deep, and they don't have one sole guy that you can just say, yeah, go win us the game. They have
because Fort Wiley didn't play a great game last week
at all. Yeah. So when you have a team like that, I think it's, I don't know, something special about teams like that where you can't just point and be like, okay, yeah, that's the guy or that's the girl on the team, which I think is special for South Carolina. So I got them winning it all. Is that the consensus? Oh wait, no.
No, I said UConn, but I said exactly why.
He's being bold.
It's bold, but I just gotta go with it.
I mean, I haven't made a pick yet, and I feel like I don't have to. Just know I picked UConn and South Carolina to win in the Final Four.
Okay, tight.
You're not exempt. We're gonna get on the back end.
Now let's move on to the men's March Madness bracket, and let's talk about the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Let's talk about Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
He's a first round draft pick. I think, and it's not even a discussion at this point.
You really want to talk about Walter Clayton?
I'm talking about him.
I mean, he's a grown man, but Florida's just their performance against Texas Tech was disgusting.
And it was, but they still got that's what I'm saying. They still got the job
done. The performance throughout this whole tournament has been the same.
It hasn't been impressive.
It has been impressive. And I think
they played very well against Maryland. I'll give them that.
Right.
I mean, the Maryland game, yeah. But I'll say, in terms of, these games, when they played UConn, I don't know. It just feels like they could play better. They
Tech was a better team than people gave credit for, honestly.
Absolutely.
I feel like Florida be playing. I don't know. I just feel like they be playing.
I feel like Florida has also had the toughest road to the Final Four out of all these teams.
And I agree. And that's why I'm like, why? I feel like y'all just keep playing. Y'all don't start doing anything to the end. Or sometimes you'll just mess up.
I hear you. I don't think that we playing with the competition. I think that we're not even playing to the competition. I feel like our brand of basketball doesn't come through until late. I feel like we try and like not tread water. I don't know how to describe it. We let the other team dictate the game and we compete off of talent.
Yeah.
And then fourth quarter comes around, it's getting to clutch time. Oh, okay, cool.
Fourth quarter?
Condom. Oh, my fault. Second half, or late in the second half. All right, cool. Condon. Hey, yeah, Condon, get in that low post, go to work. Walter, drive, go to work. But just like we get to our bread and butter when we need to. I don't know whether it's an energy thing.
You don't think that's a scary way to play the game?
I'll tell you, it's an incredibly scary way to play when you're going into a Final Four with all one seeds.
There you go.
Yeah, you cannot.
That's what I'm
continue.
getting at.
Yeah, for sure.
What happened last time Auburn played Florida? Yeah, I'm not worried about Auburn, honestly. I wasn't really high on them coming into the tournament. Yeah, they, got to the Final Four. Rightfully said, they're the 1 seed. They're supposed to get there. Duke, it's going to be Duke and Florida, wholeheartedly. And I think Florida's going to blow out Auburn again, and I think Duke's going to banish Houston to the shadow realm. I think it'll be a convincing win for Duke. Then we'll get Florida and Duke in the national championship game, and then Florida will win.
Look, I don't know if you've been watching Auburn like that, but that's not the same Auburn they saw in the same SEC tournament. And you're banking on another 7 from 8 from 3 from Florida. Now, I'm not saying that's impossible. They've been playing incredibly well. Walter Clayton Jr. has been, in my opinion, second to maybe Cooper Flagg for the best player in the tournament so far. But when you're looking at teams who are now facing 1 seeds, I think at one point these teams have all crossed over with each other, except for Houston and Duke. But you have the opportunity to really blow your entire season if you have a performance like you did just 2 weeks ago.
I hear you, but I think the biggest obstacle for Florida is a banged up Johnny Brown. They say he's missing multiple practices, aims for Thursday return, so he should be straight enough to play, but we don't know how. I don't think he's gonna be 100%. I don't think Condon is gonna be either, honestly, but I think he's more okay than Johnny is, and they played through him. So if we play physical on him, not take advantage of it, but more or less take advantage of it, I think we'll have a decent advantage for sure.
I mean, did you back up a little bit, just because we didn't really talk about the Elite Eight?
Right.
The the Sweet 16, not the Elite Eight. I wanted to talk about what y'all thought about the Texas Tech comeback against Arkansas.
It didn't matter because they got cut back against Florida. That's the thing about the tournament. It's like, I feel like we can go back to like Sweet 16, 32. Listen, if you remember,
but we ain't get to talk about it though.
Auburn is going into the Final Four, right?
Yeah,
they won the Final Four. They were just in a 8-point game with Alabama State. So
that is wild.
It really doesn't I understand we need to touch on those things, but in the grand scheme of things,
it doesn't matter.
All right, so now we're gonna do Final Four predictions and national champion along with the score predictions. So EJ, you can start us off.
Got you. Well, Florida, Auburn, give me Florida. Duke, Houston, give me Duke. And I'm gonna go Duke wins. I'm gonna say 87-83.
All right, Elijah.
Same thing, just definitely not that end result. 80 is kind of crazy. So I got Florida, I got Duke. I'll say Florida 76, Duke 7.
Y'all gonna be some disappointed folks, man. I got Florida and Duke, but I think that Duke is gonna win that game 85-62.
Okay, Jalen.
Have a heart, man.
Depending on how banged up Florida gets out of that Auburn game, I do have them on top there, but not by much. I'm going to give you Duke, Florida in the Natty. I'm going to have to agree with Justin here. I think Duke runs away with it in early. I'm going to go 85-60 or something like that in that realm.
That's a real possibility with how Florida plays.
Absolutely.
If they don't wake up early enough and Duke runs out with it, Duke not gonna let us come back.
It might be Duke and Auburn. I just want to piss y'all
Stop it right now.
But I got Florida versus Duke, and then I'm gonna have Florida winning it. I think it'll be like one of those, Villanova versus UNC games. We're gonna get a game winner. Who's gonna shoot the game winner? My man Walter Clayton Jr.
Blocked by Cooper Flagg.
It's gonna be a nice little 79-77 game. Florida's winning the Natty for the first time since what? 07,
Since
08.
Joakim and them boys.
Yeah.
Clayton, he gets the board. He's on the 3-point line. He puts it up. Bang! Bang! Florida cuts the lead to 16.
But let's talk about Duke a little bit. Cooper Flagg has been in the headlines, pretty much all year. But recently, there's been a discourse and a discussion about, is he the best freshman to come out of Duke? Duke's had a lot of great freshmen. But who do y'all think the best freshman to come out of Duke is? Is it Cooper Flag or is it my man Paulo Banchero? What y'all think?
I thought you were gonna say Zion.
Is that why this question is on the rundown?
Yes.
No, that is not why. No, that is not why.
Because I was gonna say this is a very specific question.
How? Y'all haven't been seeing this? I've heard Grant Hill. I've heard Jason Tatum. I've heard Kyrie Irving. I've heard Zion Williamson.
Well, I mean,
Paulo Banchero.
I'm gonna be honest. He's
put some
kind of
respect on
better
Tyus
than all of
Jones.
those guys.
You said Cooper's better than all of them?
Bro,
I would take.
don't make
I
him
think
swing
I
on
would.
you
I think I
about
would
Paolo,
take
bro.
Cooper over Paulo pretty easily.
I don't know. Freshman Zion was kind of.
I thought he was gonna mention
Cooper over
Zion.
Zion.
Like I was like, wow.
Freshman Zion was kind of juiced.
I think I would take Cooper over Zion. I think Cooper is a better defensive prospect. I think he's also a better playmaker at this point as well, and it's also the shooting as well.
Project?
Yeah, he is a better defensive.
You know what? I actually agree with Justin. I just bring up Paulo because obviously he's Paulo Banchero, but I definitely think Cooper's the best freshman to come out of Duke. He can score the ball at all three levels. He defends 1 through 5. He playmakes at an elite rate. What doesn't he have in his game?
Bro, we gonna get you a
He's a very complete player, but to say that he has more of an impact, especially on the defensive side of the ball, than Zion Williamson is kind of
100%.
I think his length, his shot blocking ability, it's at a higher level than it was when Zion was playing. Zion's athleticism, amazing.
Because that
we'll never take that away from the explosive athlete, and I think that kind of helped to boost the image of him defensively, but I don't think he can defend on the perimeter like Cooper can.
I don't think he
can.
No, I agree, but we rarely even saw him on the perimeter.
Right,
He was roaming that back line just sinister.
And because of that, which is what I'm glad you brought that up, your entire offensive system now has to change because you worry about his presence in the paint.
You were not a 3-point shooting team until you played Duke.
Exactly.
Now everybody's
Now you
shooting.
force them to play defense, and then at the point where he had to come out to defend the perimeter, he very well could. He had good feet.
I don't think you could stick Zion on the best perimeter player and shut him down like
You don't
Cooper
have to.
can.
But you don't have to because he's not driving.
That makes our team. That makes the
Those are
defensive
two
scheme
different
easier.
players. But to say that overall, as a defensive player, that Cooper Flag is better. Offensively, I will admit,
Coop's got a bag over him.
He's got a deeper bag. He's got a deeper bag for sure. But defensively, I disagree. And because of that, and because of his influence, I'm gonna say Zion is still the best one to come out of Duke.
The defensive game plan was almost, hey, you have this corner from this corner. You stand in the middle, and ball swing out, go get it. And he was swatting stuff to the fourth row from standing in the paint. From bumper zone, you have from this corner to that corner is your responsibility. And he took care of it.
I think anchoring a defense is important, but when we talk
Extremely
about who's
important.
the most versatile at this age, I think it's pretty easily Flag.
I think
So if
Cooper.
you're the
I
more
don't think that's the
versatile
question.
player,
I don't think that's the question.
and you're also not a bad shot blocker, because let's be honest, Cooper Flag is a great shot blocker.
I think he's the better
So,
anchor out of the two.
Honestly,
Like
his length
I
and
don't think
athleticism
I don't think it's
is. I don't think it's
close.
that.
It's not that close. Cooper's the way better shot blocker and the way better defensive anchor.
All right, if we're gonna look at their comparison for the first 21 games of both players, at 20 points per, or sorry, is this
2019 Duke.
2019 Duke? All right, so 20 points per game for Flag, 22.3 for Zion. We got rebounds. Zion leads in rebounds. Steals, Flag does lead, but he's again more of a defensive perimeter presence. So I'm not
That's
really sure
where
if
you
you
get
can compare
steals.
that. Blocks, Zion leads in blocks.
By how
Zion,
much?
That's a good question.
2.1 to 1.5.
Okay.
So he averages a whole another block a game.
I mean,
Then you
when
want to
have
talk
Common
about free
Model out
You want to talk
middle,
about field goal percentage. Zion leads in field goal percentage.
What are the attempts?
I don't have the attempts on me right now.
And,
I'm looking
to,
at.
and to be fair, I think the degree of difficulty of shots that Cooper is taking is a bit more difficult than Zion's shots. Not saying that that's a good thing, but that could play into why his shot selection is.
shot profile does matter.
Now, what I will say is that this is from like Duke's athletic site, but this is for the first 21 games. So to say that Coop did not level up towards the end of the season is a misfire. But in my opinion, I still got Zion.
It's close. It's close. What you think?
Between Coop and Zion?
Yeah.
I already said Zion. He mentioned Paulo first, and I was sitting there like, wait, Paulo.
I wasn't joking. I mean, I was joking.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say
His
Zion,
body
but yeah,
won't let him
I
say
mean,
it.
to what Justin was saying though, I mean, yeah, you can give him like he's more versatile, but I don't think I think that my answer could change in the next week or so.
What also elevates Cooper's game? His team.
Yeah,
His team is
I was gonna get there.
disgusting.
His team is very nice. Come on, come.
Zion.
You're not getting that off. You're not getting that
Is
off.
this- I thought this team is better.
I did
Am I-
not say that Duke or that Zion did not have that same talent on his team. What I said was that elevates his game as a wing player and a perimeter defender and offensive player is his team.
Okay, let's put this to bed now. Hold on. Zion Williamson had 13 field goal attempts per game on 68% shooting. You know, that's great, amazing. But he had 13 attempts per game. Cooper Flagg had 17 attempts per game and shot 48%, which is still amazing. He also shot 37% from three. Zion only shot 34.
Zion is better in that stat.
How? Cooper's giving you threes. Zion's giving you 2-point field goals.
But Zion is the more efficient player.
Right.
It depends on what style of basketball you want to play, essentially.
Zion's playing under the basket and dunking.
Right. That's more efficient. That's a better quality shot.
Sure.
It's risk versus reward. It's literally just.
But
what style of ball
even
you
then,
wanna play.
Zion's like 74% from 2-point range. But Cooper is shooting still 52%, and he's taking jumpers.
Yeah,
He's taking mid-range jumpers.
What does that have to do with you putting points on the board, though?
More often,
If I have more efficiency from shooting from 2 than I have 50% from shooting from 3, I'm getting more points off of my layups than I am 3-point shots.
Wait, tell me, Term, didn't you say last week that this Duke team might be one of the most complete rosters you've ever seen in college basketball?
Thank you. I was about to say you guys are crucifying me. For
It
saying
is.
that they have one of the most complete rosters.
It is. But when you talk about this Duke roster and then trying to diminish the
I
other
don't think
roster,
he didn't say that Zion's team was trash. He just said this team elevates his game.
Elevate Cooper Flagg's game, and that's the truth.
So you don't think Zion's team elevated his game? He's playing with a number 1 and a number 3 player in the country.
To an extent, I think they complemented his game. I think they complemented Zion's game. When you have a player who has the ability to drive, and Cam Reddish, you have the ability to get some points from the three, and you have somebody to sit under.
Like RJ Barrett.
Exactly, and you have somebody to sit under the basket like Zion. That complements his game very well. When you have Cooper Flagg, you have multiple threats out on different levels of the basketball court.
But I mean, realistically, Cooper Flagg is kind of setting the table for his guys, and he's also scoring the Rockets.
That's what I'm saying. He's the lead playmaker. He leads the team in points, rebounds, steals, assists, and blocks.
Jet nasty.
The offense revolves around what Cooper Flagg is doing,
whether he's being aggressive or not.
And guys like Malawach, like
he don't succeed without
those
Cooper
guys are
passing the
playing
ball.
off of him. You know,
that's fair. I mean, I'll give you that.
Off-ball shooter, like
you think
he's
Isaiah
hooping though.
Go 5 for 7?
Calm been hooping, man.
No, for sure. Like,
hey, prime for prime, you got Coop under the rim, Zion coming down the lane.
I'm taking Coop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, it's
sorry,
been fun on the
edit that,
Playmakers.
I think Coop has more of that dog in him.
Let's get to the. Hey, we not doing this.
I miss Mike's take so much. I needed that in my life.
We too close to Black History Month for you to be talking like this. Let's get to the shout outs. It's way too close to Black History Month for you to be talking like that.
But nah, this is actually really healthy conversation. I'm actually glad I put this on here because I didn't know y'all was gonna say Zion. But you know, let's switch gears. Let's go to the mound. Let's talk about some MLB. The Atlanta Braves, newest offseason addition, Jurickson Profar, now has an 80-game suspension for taking PEDs. That's half the season.
Bet you won't do it again.
How will this suspension impact the Atlanta Braves for the rest of the season?
It's an absolute.
Yeah, let's listen to the Braves fan.
It's an absolute gut punch, and especially when you consider they've already started off the season 0-5. If I remember correctly, they lost 5-1.
You know who y'all lost to?
Who?
The Padres.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, it's an absolute gut punch. And then when you consider the fact that, you know, our star player won't be back until I think they said another 45 days or so. You're looking for answers all across the team right now. I heard some talk about Jared Kalenic maybe stepping into the outfield, help out with that. But it's not looking good. It's an absolute gut punch for them. After a horrible start to the season so far. A team, I remember saying I was excited. I thought that they would be able to hold it down until we got Acuna back, but obviously that's not looking like that's going to be the case. Yeah.
Now y'all stink.
Bro, you talking about they looking for answers. I'm looking for answers on what did he take? What do you take to get banned for 80 games? Jit was taking steroids.
Honestly, this isn't a division that you can afford to go 0-5 in either.
Exactly.
Wow. That sucks.
Like, obviously 5 games. Well, I don't know if he played the 5th game, but in the games he did play, he leads the team in hits already in the season. Only 3. So it's like, if he's leading your team in hits, obviously he's your best player was when he was playing. So it's like, now who do you look to elevate the team and try to get some wins?
Because you were looking to chorionic Gonatrobadin. We see where that got you.
So I don't know. And then you said Acuna's not going to be back until when?
I think another 45 days or so is when he'll come back. So he's still.
Oh, y'all got Brian De La Cruz?
His way back.
That's my guy.
He's still working his way back to the field, man. It's just an unfortunate. 2 seasons ago, this was, mind you, one of the best offenses in baseball. One of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
The downfall is quite literally insane. This is why you got to always take advantage of your window, because theirs just might be closed.
I'm going to be honest. Y'all aren't making the playoffs this year.
Oh.
I think you should just
I believe you.
I think you should just, just take this one on the chin, prepare for next season. Because obviously their bullpen is one of the best in the league.
You got the Mets.
The Mets, they just got Juan Soto. I don't think obviously they're going to improve from 2
Hey,
and
the
2.
Marlins positive right now. Shout out to South Florida, man.
And the Marlins hooping right now. So
yeah,
it's like,
that's going to change soon enough. Don't worry about that.
so I'm pretty sure I could overtake the Nationals for the 4th seed in the NL East. But yeah, them top 3 teams, I think Miami's drastically improved since last year. So
It'll change. Don't worry about that.
I don't know.
Don't worry about the Marlins. That's going to change.
All right.
Cut that out.
We're a week into the MLB season. What are y'all week 1 thoughts, and what has surprised you? What comments you have on your team? What concerns you have about?
The Yankees are cheaters.
Yeah, say I was going to talk about the obvious thing in the room. That torpedo bat. What's up with that? What's your thing about that,
so
man?
revolutionary, but that's like one of the easiest things to think of.
It is, but it's like, damn, they've been putting
you
up.
can't do it. But apparently people have been doing it like in secret, or like 1 or 2 guys per team would do it, whatever, and their bat would just be funny. But the Mets, the Yankees have like, 5 players or something like that. And it's like distinct.
Yeah, it's
and their numbers are going up.
It's crazy, bro. I mean, like, bro, 32 runs.
I mean,
36 runs in 3 games.
There's some Astro stuff going on around there, boy.
That's
they banging trash cans around.
That's what I was about to say, though. Do y'all think this is like, what has to happen for the cheating to stop in baseball? It feels like it's something that happens year after year. Somebody finds a new way to cheat, whether it has something to do with what was it like?
Astros was banging the trash cans.
It was another thing about like pine dust on the ball or something like that,
Yeah,
or like
tar on the
all this type of crazy stuff. Like, what's the deal with cheating in baseball?
Bro, the game's so old. People figured it out a long time ago. Not everybody just trying to get an advantage. That's what I think.
Wait a minute, do y'all know how crazy 36 runs in 3 games is?
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Like I don't think the Tennessee Titans scored 36 points in their first 3 games.
Zip playing MLB the show
12
on
per
rookie.
game, right?
Wow.
What's the lowest?
Like
What's the lowest
that's
level of MLB
36 in 3 games is 12 per game, right? Like,
What?
That seems like right. No,
That's hooping. That's elite.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're right. 12
that's
times 3, 36.
cheating. Do y'all consider that cheating though? If they did it within the rules, the bat isn't any. The dimensions of the bat are different, but they're still within like regulation, whatever. Like,
I mean, I can't call it cheating because it's technically legal, but I'll
It's
say
definitely
it needs to be
breaking
looked at. It needs to be something that's like, all right, that's kind of absurd. Like, you start breaking it down, you're averaging 12 runs. Like, okay.
I'm gonna be
ref,
honest.
do something.
It feels a little bit like a deflated football sort of deal. That's just my take on it, or from the outside looking in. Like, I'm obviously not the most knowledgeable about baseball. It feels like a deflated football sort of situation, though. It's just more like it's something that gives you a clear advantage over other teams. So if the team you're playing against isn't doing that and they haven't figured that out, then you have a clear advantage that really has nothing to do with like the physical aspect of your players,
Right.
So
I hear you. My only rebuttal to that would be like football. This team, our team is deflating the footballs, and we have to touch the football, right? Baseball, hitting the ball is the hardest thing to do. Period. They're making it easier for them to do so. And 36 runs in 3 games is ridiculous. It's obviously helping, but it's still not guaranteed that you're going to hit the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Brady dropping back and catching the ball, that's guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So once he get the ball in his hands, the deflation, if that happened, obviously help. But they still got to do the work and hit the ball. It's just 10 times easier, if not more. I wonder when did they start doing it? They said they're running like a NASA astrophysicist or something.
But Jalen, what's your thoughts on the MLB season so far?
Jake Mangum, he's come in. He's had a long road to the MLB, so to see that he finally found a home with the Rays is it's good to see. I know he had a big performance against the Pirates. I want to say yes, but he came in at an at bat. They're 0-3. Sorry, the count was 0-3. Came in, changed the whole game around. So to see him, I know he had a late start. He was a great player at Mississippi State. To see him finally find a home with the Braves, I think that's been great. Hopefully we can keep this momentum going up. I know we have the Yankees coming up. That's always a rivalry. So yeah, man, go Rays.
Yeah, I got to talk about my team. I'm being a homer. Fernando Tatis Jr. is on the heater right now. In 20 at-bats, got 9 hits.
Okay.
Got an OPS of 1150. He should get some MVP consideration. You got to keep this up, though. Manny Machado hooping. Jackson Merrill, center fielder, hooping. I think the Padres, they got to the conference championship game against the Dodgers last year. Yeah, I believe it was the NL Conference Championship or whatever they called it. The NLCS. Yeah. But I think we can hopefully get over the hump this year, make it to the World Series, win a chip. Tatis wins playoff MVP. We can ride off into the sunset.
Come on, bro.
But let's get onto the field. Switch it up a little bit again. Stephon Diggs signed a new deal with the New England Patriots. Do y'all think they overpaid for him?
No.
Look, when you break it down, it's really not that bad.
No, it's not. I mean, have you seen the receiver room without him?
100%.
Like, come on, they got Mississippi Valley State's receiver room.
They got
it's bad. It's
can't-
bad, bro.
We can't even joke like that no more because we genuinely got to get a get back next season.
Yeah, you're right.
But we lost.
You are right. But I mean, that's not the
was a
point.
big-
We got bombed on.
This is not about FAMU football.
You're
This is
right.
about the New England
My fault,
Patriots.
my fault.
But nah, just speaking in generally though, like I can't say they overpaid a receiver when you need him, and I don't want them to waste Drake May's like rookie, not rookie, but his rookie contract. I don't want them to waste that time with him throwing to nobodies, and like we're consistently seeing him, struggle, not being the guys to throw to, not being like playing like Josh Allen without the help around him. So I like the contract that they gave Stephon Diggs. I think he's gonna be able to open up Drake May's game, work with him, give him some of that veteran leadership, ease him into the role.
They could definitely get out of it after the first year.
Yeah,
That's
when
what
you
I'm
said
saying. If
Break
they-
it down. I had to look it up. 'Cause
Yeah.
when I saw 63, that's wait a minute.
No, they have the
But
out
they
on the first
guaranteed,
year, but
okay.
even after that, it's like 18.5 million or something with team options with 26,
It's not
27.
bad at
So
all.
it really
bro.
isn't that bad.
It's
But
not
again,
bad.
like EJ said,
Jitting under
that receiver
360.
room without Stephon is crazy.
They needed it, man. Like that was a big move for the Patriots, honestly.
Well, I mean, they had a chance to draft a receiver. They really needed it.
They probably might still draft
I don't-
Travis.
I don't
And
think-
aside from injuries, they have a good wide receiver.
I think it's not just it's not just in terms of like good receivers, but also having that receiver that's been there before, that veteran leadership, that
Veteran
like,
leadership, okay.
I can help this rookie or young QB, develop his game.
Yeah, but he also has like character issues,
That part's true. That part is like,
And that's where I'm kind of concerned about this is that the guy you necessarily take the flyer on as far as like your veteran leader?
I hear you.
I think there's nowhere else to go though.
But look though, I don't even with a guy like CJ Stroud, I don't even necessarily think he's a veteran leader. I think CJ Stroud is the leader of that team. For real.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that team doesn't need Stephon Diggs, and I think that showed when he went down. I think that team, they had a chance to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like that team clearly showed that they don't need Stephon Diggs. So I think that's why the Patriots went ahead and did that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think because again they don't want to, like, you take Bo Nix's like rookie year, like it helped out a lot that he was throwing to Cortland Sutton, and he had like these weapons. He had Sean Payton as a head coach. The Patriots had a first year head coach. Was his first time coach
No, they
ever?
don't.
Right. On the Patriots. Then I mean they fired him now. They got
Oh,
Mike
you're talking
Vrabel. I'm talking
about
about that.
Jerome
Yeah, I'm talking about
Hale?
that was his first time coaching, right?
coach.
Okay, yeah. So they had that first time coach. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have any experienced receivers for real. I think this is their chance to change that up. They brought in Mike Vrabel. They are bringing in Stephon Diggs. Just kind of give Drake May that same type of surrounding so that he can develop into what he has shown he can be.
Okay, now let's talk about the AFC East a little bit. I know it's not on the topic thing, but like, could this be the best division in football next year, or at least in the AFC?
Let me hear your point.
No.
Not really.
From all
I think-
14.
Yeah, from all 14
all
standpoint.
14 standpoint.
You
Because
got-
I'm thinking AFC North, but I can't give it to the Browns just yet.
Because you got the Buffalo Bills. They're gonna win 12, 13 games next year. The
Dolphins.
the Dolphins.
Jets.
That's it. The Dolphins are a 10-win team. The Jets with new head coach Aaron Glenn,
Dolphins
Justin
10-win
Fields.
team?
Robin.
Dolphins certified 10-win team?
Look, this isn't supposed to be.
No, just off the top of my head.
NFL season is not up
It's
right
not
now, but I'm just
ridiculous.
gonna put it like this. I think the Dolphins still should be considered somewhat of a respectable 10-win team, because I mean 10 wins is 10-7. You know what I'm saying? It's not a great
Exactly.
record, but it's a good enough record. And I think that's what the Dolphins are. I think Tua being hurt, had the concussion, it made the record seem a little different than what they are.
Like I think they can all 4 teams can be above 500.
I'm still caught up. Hold on. Can you re-ask the question? Because did you say the AFC East is going to be the best division in
No,
NFL?
I said could it be the best division in football?
That's still a wild question. No, they can't.
That's not a wild question. I just don't think it's going to be.
No.
No, it's not gonna be the best division.
Let's say the
Jets.
Jets. Let's say the Justin Field. What you say?
It's the Jets. At the end
No,
of
it's
the day,
the Dolphins.
I'm sorry, like...
All right, I'm
The
not
Dolphins-
listening.
the
I'm not
Dolphins-
listening to that.
No,
10-win
I-
team?
the Dolphins are going to be the worst team.
The Dolphins could be a 10-win team.
And the Dolphins are going to be the worst team in that division. That's what I'm saying.
This is an Ohio State fan
Patriots
who's
missed
basking in the
out.
glory
Whoa.
of 2019, 2020.
Wait, the things got a little wild around here. I ain't
No.
gonna lie to you.
Who's the quarterback for Jets now?
It's
Justin Fields.
If the AFC
think
North still exists and the NFC East still exists, no.
I said that. I said basically from.
And you said the NFC what?
Huh?
No, you said the AFC North.
And the what? And what else?
In the NFC East.
What?
The NFC East next year?
So hold on, time out. You
I
have
don't
the
Eagles,
know.
Commanders?
I don't
Giants, Cowboys,
I think yeah.
and then you have the
got
Browns
two,
and the Bengals.
two polar bears in Arkansas.
Well, hold on. The best division in the best division.
Nah,
I thought we were talking about
Commanders-
best division in the AFC
Nah,
or in the league.
I thought
You said what?
League
Are we talking about league or in the AFC? If you're talking league,
Both.
Well, in the league, it's the NFC
If
North.
you have the Commanders and the Eagles
No,
in the
it's
same,
not.
It's that.
You got the
Oh,
Commanders
NFC
and-
North.
Yeah,
Yeah,
NFC
yeah.
North is the best division in the league.
Okay, yeah.
hands down.
We can say that.
That's what it is. I'm not gonna. But if you're talking about AFC, I said that was not a wild question because, from a 4-team perspective, the AFC North is a 3-team juggernaut.
Because we don't know who the Browns quarterback is going to be for the AFC North.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the Browns are still at the bottom of the barrel, but those 3 teams they go back and forth. They have good games, you know.
And all 4
I
of them
don't.
clear.
Yeah.
All
So from a
4.
4-team perspective, yeah, for sure, the AFC East could possibly be the best 4-team division.
Right. Jalen disagrees.
I think the Dolphin take was a little wild. Like I think they're a solid team, bro. Like
I definitely think they're going to be the worst in the division, though.
Yeah.
Who, the
I have to
Dolphins?
agree.
Yeah, 100%. Because I believe in Justin Fields. They're an 11-win team next year.
I mean,
11?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just confused as to why you have more faith in Justin Fields than Tua.
Health.
fair.
That's fair enough, but I mean, like,
And
That's-
Justin
that's-
Fields isn't a scrub.
That's what I'm saying. He was 4-2 as a starter and got
I
benched.
mean, it's not Justin Fields I'm worried about for
And
me. I think it's the
you've seen-
Jets.
You've seen
Yeah.
3 years.
I think the
They
Jets
have-
were-
they have
I haven't
structure,
seen a lot
though.
of progression
The
there.
Jets
You said
organization.
You've seen 3 years of two. I haven't seen a lot of progression there either.
fair.
Mm,
I think he is a better player. He is a better player, but
I
he
can't
has
say
not
I haven't seen
progressed.
progression from
The
a
I think
player.
Tua's ceiling is much higher than
yeah,
Fields,
but the
though.
thought of his ceiling, we've been talking about it since he got drafted.
No, for real.
I mean, he led the
Facts.
league in passing yards.
Yeah, that's cool.
He was
I'm
up
just saying,
there
like, I
in-
can't say he's done nothing
He
though.
was
Like,
up
I'm
there
not.
in interceptions too, if I remember.
No.
I'm just saying, Tua. I think he still get overhated a little bit, and the Dolphins get a little overhated. I think they're a better team. You said the worst in the division. I don't even know if the Patriots are better than them.
They will be. Under Mike Vrabel, they will be.
I can't confidently say
First
that.
year, nah.
I don't.
I
think
can't
so.
confidently say first year the Patriots are better than the Dolphins. Give it a couple years. Mike Vrabel lead that team.
Give it after the draft, then I can confidently say it.
Okay.
Just, my
I
predictions for
don't
next
know
year.
that hearing the Dolphins last in that division. That's
y'all
just
y'all thought
took
they were
me
bold.
aback.
Y'all thought they were bold this year. Just wait.
I was just
Patriots
wow.
gonna be my surprise team next
I didn't think
year.
I was gonna hear that.
My fault,
Dolphins
man. I
might be
was
the
thinking
last in the AFC East. Wow.
I was thinking of 2023 where he threw 14, not 2024 where he threw 7.
But
14 is
that's enough NFL. NFL season kind of dry right now. Let's talk about the best sport in the world. NBA playoffs finna start. But have we ever seen a coach get fired? 10 games left into the season, because that's what.
Which
the
one was
Memphis-
wilder, that or the Bucks firing last year?
Hold on. Let him introduce the topic.
Yeah, I didn't even finish the question. But yeah, I was talking about the Memphis Grizzlies and how they decided to fire Taylor Jenkins from his position with 10 games left in the season. So was that the right move that the Grizzlies made, firing Taylor Jenkins?
Absolutely not.
But why not?
I mean, you're 10 games left in the season.
Right. But if you were going to do it because I think they're slated to play, if the season ended today, they would play the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
You're going to lose that series. So would you rather wait the 10 games or the 10 games plus the 6 games that the series is going to go
Well,
to.
now you're,
feel
in
like
my
he was on a
eyes,
stretch.
from the outside looking in,
You're
giving yourself pretty much the out that, oh, we're not going to beat the Lakers.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and start this reconstruct now.
100%.
You're counting yourself out as a team, like, before you even play. You still have to go up and lace on the court.
Right, against Luka Doncic and LeBron James.
My point
Or
is
against
that you're
Nikola
going,
Jokic.
you're going in without a head coach now.
Right,
You're-
I 100% agree. They gave up on the season.
Right.
And giving up on the season with 10 games left, maybe around the All-Star break, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. If it was earlier in the season, if that was what your
That's what you wanna
mindset
do,
was going
yeah.
into, that's fine. But you have 10 games left in the season. Man,
Yes.
finish it out. Give yourself a chance.
Facts. And what are they reconstructing to do exactly? Because they're competitive in the West.
I think they're moving one of their top 3 players.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think they're kind of setting up for a sort of a soft rebuild. And retool. Sorry. And if I had to put my money on it,
I would say Ja Morant.
Yeah, I think Ja Morant is kind of the outlier player. We're on
Yep.
the same page here, so I think Ja Morant is kind of the outlier player as far as their core right now. They might look to move off of him this summer. And they already kind of got rid of a coach who I don't think they felt comfortable with him going up against some of the top coaches in that conference. You know, we talked about his performance this year, or their performance as a team this year against some of the better teams in the Western Conference, and it hasn't been great. They've lost a lot of big games against teams like OKC, against teams like Houston, and obviously against teams like Lakers too. And we saw what happened the last time they faced off in a series, and the Lakers have now a better coach and a better player than Anthony Davis on that roster too.
This season, the Memphis Grizzlies, and Ja Morant. Ja Morant has the lowest touches in his career since 2021, the lowest field goal percentage of his career, I think, in his entire career. Yeah, I think they've kind of fizzled him out of the
offense.
Yeah, the offense, the play calling and stuff like that, and they're more focused around Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he rightfully so. He had a great year this year, but Ja Morant was drafted number 2 overall for a reason. So if they're gonna ship him off, I mean, obviously they're gonna get great assets for him, but I don't know if that's the right move to make if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies. But you know, if they were gonna ship him off, I know a perfect destination.
Miami.
You know? No.
Duncan Robinson.
No. He don't
and
need to be
2
in Miami.
first-round picks.
He need to be in a city like Orlando. Be the table setter for a guy like Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero.
All right, now answer that without bias.
Because I didn't answer it.
The
without
Orlando
bias.
Magic.
No.
Not
Try
without-
again.
No, I'm like the Orlando Magic.
So
No
what are y'all-
bias.
What are y'all giving up?
What are we giving up?
Yeah.
You can have Cole Anthony. You can have Anthony Black.
We're talking a little bit.
You can have Tristan Da Silva.
Okay, now you're losing.
Maybe Jonathan Isaac to make the money work.
Okay.
You can have 3 first-round picks. You can get like 3-4 players and 3 first-round picks.
I like that, Loki. Is that a lot for Jonathan? Is that a lot for Jonathan?
We can overpay a little bit.
No, for sure. I'm asking y'all. I'm asking her. Is that
That's
a
kind
lot?
of a
Jonathan,
lot.
That is a lot for Sean
That's a
Morant.
lot you just said
But
right there, bro.
that's
Do we
putting all
do we
that's
forget
putting
who
all the
Ja
chips-
Morant was?
No, I know.
mean-
I know. I'm just saying that that's
Bro, that's a lot.
Jonathan Isaac, Anthony Black. That's kind of a lot. Not saying it is bad, but that's putting all your chips in.
Especially if you're the Memphis Grizzlies and you want to be a defensive-oriented team, getting a guy like
Jonathan-
Anthony Black and Jonathan
Jonathan
Isaac,
for sure.
who are both under 30.
But for
Anthony
the
Black
Magic,
are 25.
that's pushing your tables all the way in on the championship. And would Ja Morant make y'all, that put y'all above? Does that instantly put y'all above the Knicks?
Yes.
Okay.
If we're healthy,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not so sure about the fit because I think the issue that Ja is having right now is he is a player who needs the ball in his hands.
Right.
The
I was gonna
offense is
say
turned away from him,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that works well because I also feel like Paulo, to a certain degree, Franz too. They both kind of need the ball in their hand too.
I disagree.
You feel like Paulo doesn't need the ball in his hands to be like as effective as he possibly can be on the offense for your team.
No, but I think for us to be a championship team, and Paulo even said it, he doesn't need to play with the ball in his hands. Paulo, you can get Paulo in the low post, get some packages for him, or get some looks for him in the low post, give him the ball, let him work. Then you have Franz Wagner as a cutter, a backside cutter for Paulo. I feel like once we get a legit point guard, our offense is gonna open up so much more, and you're gonna see a different type of Paulo Banchero.
And Paolo is an above average playmaker, but with
He's a great playmaker.
he
Good.
above average.
Good. Let's just
Right.
say good.
I like above average. Above average, not too bad.
Now, when you say a legit point guard, right, and you already have so much low post action going on with Paolo and your backdoor cutters, when you say legit point guard,
You're right.
my first thought wouldn't be a driver like job.
Yeah, be my concern. Like having to get him in the paint as well, and not necessarily being a guy who can space out that offense.
I'm saying I feel like y'all need a point guard that's a threat at the perimeter.
Yeah.
I would say a point guard that's a threat at the perimeter is much better than that haul that you came up with for John Morant.
I think one thing we're missing, though, not to move the conversation away, but also to move the conversation away, is that Jaren Jackson could potentially be looking for like a huge contract too. And it's kind of a conversation about like what's more valuable to us, Jaren Jackson's offensive leap and his defensive prowess as well, or John Morant, and maybe our concerns about John Morant not being the player that he was, and some of the off the court issues we've had with him too. I think they're leaning towards JJJ, which makes sense, but it's like, is that the proper direction for them to go?
You do know he would be the highest paid player in basketball.
Yeah, he would be the highest paid player in basketball.
Like,
I agree with that. But
are you comfortable saying that? Like, okay, we made Jaren Jackson Jr. the highest paid player in basketball.
I don't know how comfortable I am with saying that, but I also feel like that's going to change in some time too. Like, he's not going to be the highest paid player in basketball for some years.
Nah,
like,
next year.
Probably going to be for like, it's probably going to be like one season or maybe two.
If I got a defensive player of the year that's dropping 20 points and he not flashing guns in the club, I'll pay him.
Alrighty. Now, switching over to the Eastern Conference, let's talk about the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. Which team would be a bigger threat in the Eastern Conference playoffs?
We talking about threats. We talking about teams who have 5 people suspended because of a fight. So I'm gonna go Pistons not playing. But also on the real though, the amount of momentum that the Pistons are gaining right now is scary.
It's definitely scary, but the playoffs are different.
But
Very different.
They've never been there.
I think their style of play could translate well to the playoffs.
Exactly.
They've never been there though.
That's not wrong, but experience is the best teacher.
No, for sure. But I think the way that they play is already kind of a slower. Pacers get a lot of their points off in transition. Not saying that they can't slow it down, but I think the Pistons brand of ball translates a bit easier to playoff basketball. And so when I think more scary, I would think like more surprising. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers won the series in the playoffs, whereas the Pistons would be like, they scare me. You understand what I'm saying? Like I could see people dropping 4 games to like just the way that you word it. Like I could see teams dropping 4 games to the Pistons as opposed to the Pacers. I could see the Pacers beating people 4 times. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
At all.
I was kind of just letting you go.
It sounds like you said the same thing 2 different ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, bro. Sometimes you win games and sometimes you lose games. I could see a team losing 4 games to the Pistons, whereas I could see the Pacers winning.
Oh, so you see the Pacers are a better team to you?
Right. But I think the Pistons are a bit scarier to me because of how I know what they're capable of.
Let me try to understand.
Right,
so you're saying the Pistons, like for the question, who's scarier? The Pistons are scarier because you don't know what they're capable of in the playoffs.
To me, exactly.
Okay, because you've never seen them in the playoffs, so this team could come in here and surprise these teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but what we have seen is Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers beat a Milwaukee Bucks team last year.
With Halliburton?
Yes, Tyrese Halliburton.
I mean, Pacers they did it. You could say there was maybe some injuries and flukes that helped them get along the way, but
It's
Pacers made it there.
Siakam was also amazing.
Exactly.
For stretches in that series too. I think that this is pretty easily the Pacers to me.
100%.
I think the addition of Matherin to a squad that made the conference finals last year isn't anything to look by, even though you can argue how like impactful Ben Matherin is, but you know, we're talking about a 16-point per game scorer. That's just more offense to add to your roster as well. And I think I get what you're saying, like to a certain degree, not fully understand, but I do feel like there is sort of this thing with the Pacers where they're kind of like a sleeping giant at times. And like the way people view Halliburton like at the end of last season isn't really how they view him now because of his struggles to start the season. But post All-Star break, he's been a much, much better player. I mean, he's close to, I think he's at 47% from the field this year, just under 40% from 3 while averaging obviously a high amount of assists, being able to play, making get his crew involved. So I think the Pacers can really be a team that goes into the second round and takes a team to 6 games. I don't see them repeating, but I think they win a first round series for sure.
100%. Jalen?
I gave my thoughts in the beginning. I still think it's going to be the Pistons.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they still have a bit of a road to get to the playoffs, but they clinch that 6th seed. I'm not trying to go to Detroit to play a 7-game series, especially when you're talking about a team that hasn't been there for quite some time. The last time they were there, I think they might have gone all the way. No.
Who? The Pistons?
Nah.
Last time they were in the playoffs, they played LeBron.
Yeah, that's what I was just
maybe
thinking
the
about
second
that.
or third last time.
Yeah.
Third to last time.
But either way, I think the momentum that they're gaining here, they have a young core. Their system of basketball translates well to a 7-game series. I think the Pistons would be a scary team to see in the playoffs.
Fans been
The team
fiending for some playoffs.
the team they would play would be the Indiana Pacers. That's why I asked the question.
So who y'all think?
So if they match up, you're still picking the Pistons?
I am. It'll be a fun series. I think that might go 7.
Now it's different when you know they play each other.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm trying to think how they match
in
up.
my
I'm trying to think how
mind,
they match
I'm
up.
thinking, I'm seeing like, I don't know. Dang, who is the 6th seed currently in the
Bucks.
It's the Milwaukee Bucks.
If I'm the Bucks, I don't want to see the Pistons in a 7-game series.
damn,
Even
I
if
don't
I
wanna
do,
see
even if I do win that series, I'm now definitely weaker going into my next series.
The Bucks shouldn't want to see anybody in the playoffs, so I'm not going to give you that.
Well, Detroit would have. If Detroit was a 6 seed, they would have played the Knicks.
Now that's a series I'm like, okay, the Pistons could win that. I just because the New York, it's just the Knicks. They can something always wrong with the Knicks, so that's why I think the Pistons could get out of that series in 7. But I think in a series against the Indiana Pacers, another young team who's also hungry, who's also been to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm taking the Pacers.
Siakam also has championship experience.
Exactly.
As well, so I just want to throw that out there too.
All right, fellas. Well, that's gonna be all for today's show. Now on to our favorite part of the show. Shout outs. I always gotta start it off today. Shout out to my guy Paulo Banchero, just won Player of the freaking Month. So big shout outs to him. Hopefully he wins. He won Player of the Week. Hopefully he wins Player of the Month because he did average 37 and 4. Some slight stuff. But yeah, first and foremost, gotta give my thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every day, do what we love in the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication. Gotta give a shout out to my mom. Her birthday coming up on Thursday. Give a shout out to the fam bam, the guys who not in the studio. Shout out to EJ and Justin. Y'all finna graduate. What's the countdown?
It's like a month. Actually, like a month and 2 days.
It's a little mo for me, but,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a little mo for me.
Congratulations, y'all boys.
For
For real.
I'm graduating this summer. I don't know if a lot of people know
Oh.
that, but I'll be here for the summer. So
Okay. But yeah, another shout out to Paulo. Last one. You can go ahead, EJ.
So,
Before I do my shout outs, I just want to understand. So you shouted out Paulo and then proceeded to follow up by saying, first and foremost, shout out to God.
Shout out God. I thought I caught that too. I thought I was the only one that
we're
caught
gonna
that
get a
too.
counter going of how many episodes in a row he chooses to shout out Paulo before God. So right now, if I remember correctly, we're at 3.
We're at 2.
Okay.
We're at 2.
Anyway,
Keep it going.
shout out to my Lord and Savior. Shout out to my folks back at the crib. Shout out to the guys in the studio. Shout out to graduation coming up. 4 years here at FAMU has been a blessing. Excited to be on the show with y'all boys.
Shout out God first and foremost. Shout out to my parents. I love y'all. Shout out Cadence and Kendall. I love y'all so much. Both of my big girls made AB honor roll. Super shout out to y'all. Proud of y'all. Shout out to the Miami Heat for winning 5 games in a row after a terrible run. I cried some nights. But yeah, shout out to the Miami Heat. Shout out to SJGC, WANM. We started off strong. We're going to keep it going.
shout out to God. I want to give a shout out to the station doing some great work. Y'all pop out to all of the events, you know what I mean? And we're shouting out players. I want to give a shout out to my guys, man. If it wasn't for my 2 boys, I'm not going to finish that. If you know, you know. But shout out to Dyson Daniels. Shout out to Zachary Richeche, man. They was hating on my number 1 overall pick, but rookie of the year in my eyes.
Didn't you call him a role player?
Anyways, rookie of the year in my eyes. So shout out to him. Shout out to the family. And shout out to everybody in this room right now. Hope you are doing well, having a great semester, and accomplishing everything that you want to accomplish.
Just want to thank God, man. Without him, we wouldn't be able to do what we love. I want to thank you guys. I know I've been away for a little bit, but you guys have definitely been, on your Zoom, making sure that shows run smooth. We having the information that we need to get out to the public. We getting episodes published, so couldn't do it without you guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the fam. Man, shout out the name of Progressive. You know what I'm saying? CKES always.
So y'all all live in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we going to the Magic Parade in the summer.
Oh my God.
End the show.
Halftime with the Playmakers is produced in the studios of WANM-FM 90.5 in the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication at Florida A&M University.